Good evening. Welcome back to the town on the Gorkin. We have made it. Almost done with the main quest on day 11. It's still early, but the foreman has agreed to let us sacrifice him to make enough blood to produce enough panaceas to stop the plague. He has suggested that there are many more that would give in to the same request. And since Burrock asked me to help clear out the foreman, I have done so. As the foreman will step down, Burrock can take his throne. So, let's go back and tell him. You're already here! Hello, Burrock. What are you doing here, Spirit? I've talked to the foreman. You need to hear this. He's resigning and will soon hand his powers over to you. Did you make him do it? I am a mere instrument of fate. Why did he do it? Because everyone has a preordainment to fulfill. Yours is to preside over the kin. You've turned out to be much more powerful than I thought. Why did you do this? Tell me what you're intending to do, Burrock. I must make a blood sacrifice, but I haven't settled on one yet. I don't know who it was meant to be. I must decide. That moment is probably inevitable, and it will come soon. Denkovsky said Aglaia and you had agreed to tear down the polyhedron. I only want one thing, and that's to heal the town. The destruction of the polyhedron was necessary, seeing as I never hoped I would defeat the foreman. But that wasn't what happened, so what now? I know how to make a panacea out of blood and herbs. The trouble is that the right blood is very rarely found in nature. You shouldn't hate this town. It's beautiful. It hasn't lost its bond with the earth. It combines incompatible things. Different eras linger in it alongside each other. There are no towns like this anymore, and there will hardly ever be again. Take heart. I'll give you blood that is like the blood you seek. Where are you going to get it from? I transform blood with my hands. I'm a miracle worker, Burrock. Yes, that sounds true enough. I believe you. What would you have me do? Promise me that when you become head of the kin, you'll help me by creating as much panacea as will be needed to contain the disease. If this will save my town, I hereby agree. Tomorrow, I'll be able to back it up with arguments for Aglaia. She must submit a report on the decision reached in order to avoid being executed. Is that so? Yes, so tell Aglaia. Let her in on your plan. I think she'll accept it. Alright, I'll do it. Okay. Does this mean Burrock no longer... this poor man. Does this mean Burrock no longer wants to destroy the polyhedron? At all? Like, does getting him a seat at the table matter? It's interesting for this, we're brokering a peace with Artemy because in theory, we're both staying in this town. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like for there to be proper closure, Clara should return to the ground. I wonder if they considered that. Like, the town's not real and Clara knows it's not real, so why is she still planning to stay rather than set things in motions and move on? I don't know, it seems a little messy. I guess I'm still sort of stuck on the idea of the mistresses and Clara becoming one. I'm just not sure what all that accomplishes, I guess. It's a good point in RSD. I'll admit, I have no idea. I trapped myself in a corner. I feel like I'm willing to buy in to the idea that the town is miraculous and worth saving, and we should just feel that way by this point. That seems fair and reasonable for how things have gone. Go this way. I guess I'm just working through the other characters, like, full arcs for their literal physical positions. Like, Dankovsky, whatever ending you choose, just goes back to the capital. He leaves. No matter what. That's what victory is for him. His life's work in ruin, but secure in the knowledge that he did, in fact, see a miracle. That someone beat death, and he helped them do it. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm thinking on RST. Daniel goes back to the capital. Artemy comes back home and stays. Clara was never anywhere else. Like, that's part of what makes her unique. Both Daniel and Artemy come in on a train. Clara was birthed from the earth, fully formed here. The idea that she just stays to make the place better the same way Artemy does feels a little off. Especially since we don't have other parallels to her journey in that way. Like, Katerina wasn't fully formed from the earth here, even though she was the earth mistress. So, like, what's going on? You burned both of them to death. Yeah, an RSD. Something. I don't know what arc I would go for exactly. but she's sort of beyond or above all of this somehow, and that she just stays, like, it feels like it's not concluded somehow.
Mutiny has flashed in the army. The soldiers rebelled against the general.
Inquisitor Aglaya Lilac, I have a better solution than the one suggested by the Haruspecs and the Bachelor. Now I know it for certain. It all fits. Well now, say what you have to say, instrument of the law. There's a way to preserve the town. It's hard to believe, but I'm certain of it. The disease will continue to exist too, but it will become completely harmless. It will be tamed, just like smallpox. I'll do this with my hands. I'm going to stay here. We can inoculate people, and people will survive. I don't understand yet. Dr. Rubin has conducted a scientific study. He has ascertained that the plague hasn't killed Simon Kane after all. Simon's blood contained corpuscles that had made the disease harmless. When I heal someone with my hands, their blood becomes like that too. It's an interesting way to set this up, that we don't actually cure the disease. The disease continues to live on, but neither parasitic nor symbiotic, just co-living. So you're going to cure everyone as they get infected. I wonder how you'll manage it with a population of many thousand at this rate of contagion, or the entire country's population if the disease escapes from the town. No, of course I won't be enough. All the more because the blood needs to be predisposed. But there are people with this kind of blood who've agreed to spend themselves entirely on vaccines for everyone else. I'll show them to you tomorrow. So you're saying you'll be able to maintain this faithful, this unnatural blend, and even create a possibility for, oh my god, its further development through periodic transformation of some townspeople's blood, with a subsequent slaughtering of these people after the manner of what has done to Simon? Yes, that's correct. Are you really imagining yourself a miracle worker? I can perform a miracle. No one else can, which is why no one else has thought of the same plan. Everyone believes miracles to be impossible. Another one. Nina was enough. She too used to sing about miracles and ended up turning the town into a pagan altar. You'd like to set up a bloody conveyor line in which you will hold the key position, right? I won't let that happen. But enough. No more of this talk. Why are you so blind? Another obsessed idiot dragging thousands of victims into the very same trap. No, enough. Help me destroy the polyhedron, or leave the town at once, or else I'll have you executed. But why destroy when everything can be preserved? It's the powers that be who want to preserve everything. That's the reason there's an epidemic. Who do you think you are? You're no miracle worker. You're an avatar of the Sand Plague. Do you understand? But instead of acting as an honest instrument of the law, you have stolen the fate of another. So that's why I'm a thief? That's why you're a thief. You're guilty of the theft of your own fate. You will never try on this halo. It is absurd as a hangman playing the miraculous rescuer while the execution is already ongoing. Now I understand everything. I'm giving you an hour to leave the town, you little scum. I'm banishing the plague from this place, thereby accomplishing my mission. Out! Don't you dare look for a protector. No one's going to help you now. We'll see. Leia commands me to leave the town at once, but why? What's wrong with my strategy? Is this because my plan answers the goals of the powers that be too well? What kind of an inquisitor is she? She's nothing but a vengeful, malicious imposter. What can I do now but collapse at the feet of the commander and beg for protection? I assume my reputation's going to plummet on my way over. Georgie Victor Peter. Reputation isn't plummeting. Okay. weird to me how Clara and the commander work together. He seems so unlike her to me.
I'm feverish.
Why are you here? The Inquisitor has ordered me to leave the town before the end of today. Why on earth did she do that? I've come up with a way to keep this town intact, all three of its parts, all three towns, the town of beasts, the town of men, the town of children. But she said that as long as she's alive, that won't happen. No surprise, so you've defied her plans. I think I have. She's bent on destroying the polyhedron. Yes. And the Bachelor was going to rescue this architect precisely in order to find out whether the town's brittle groundwork could withstand the bombardment if we had to level the residential areas. I know a way to preserve the town, but I need more time, a day at the very least. Indeed. This once again confirms that I was right about you. This is how a divine messenger would behave. I am your protector. Tell me what you want. I know a number of people who have already resigned to their impending death. They even believe they deserve it. All I need is to find several volunteers among the bound. How many do you need? 7, at least. I could put not 7, but 77 men at your disposal. No, for one thing they have to be bound. Not all people are the same. These ones have a rare blood type. Go and look for the ones you need then. I'll order my soldiers to defend you should anyone dare make an attempt at your life. It's a shame that so few have remained loyal. There will be even less after we crush the revolt completely. But we will persevere. Afterwards, come back to me and tell me if you've been successful. So in RSD, this line right here, this is why I feel like it's interesting how much Commander Block and Clara work together. Because in the other runs, he seems intent on firing his gun. As a matter of course, it's what he does. It's what he's here for. It's his entire purpose. And he knows it will ruin him no matter what he shoots at. But his sense of duty commands him to do it anyway. And the fact that in Clara's run, he's just upfront about the fact that he doesn't want to fire the gun is wild. It's a weird turn, I think. I don't know if they've compromised his character or if part of the point of the whole game is how people change when they meet someone extraordinary. And I think that's what's happening with Block here. That he needs an extraordinary... Yes, he's a true believer in Clara. Yes, absolutely. He needs an extraordinary person to let him be someone else. That's what Ava wanted from The Bachelor, and what she got. That's what Aspity wants from the Haruspecs. That if an extraordinary person can come along and do the impossible, you can make people better. I think that's part of the point of the whole game. This is like the final nail in that. The punctuation at the end of that discussion is Commander Block changing right here at the end. You don't want to destroy the town, do you? No, I don't. I'm prepared to sacrifice my career in order to avoid raising and killing this town. Why? I was born and raised in a town like this one. Firing at it is torture for me, but that isn't the main reason. I'm surprised to hear you talk like that. Everything in this town is precious. This place is symbolic. That which is below has left our world for good, having turned into lifeless bones, into museum pieces. That which is above will never come around again. It is a potential future that I don't want to lose. How do you know? The Haruspex has demonstrated the former to me, and the Bachelor the latter. Written into this town is the destiny of our entire country, and I feel that the Creator is watching me now as I'm making my choice. The part I am to play in the fate of this town will have an effect on the part I am to play in the fate of this country. Everything will be all right. Final journey lies ahead. It's time to reap what was sown. The foreman was the first sacrifice. 6 more are needed. 7 sinners would be enough to save the town. Let's go talk to our bound. Thematically, I should go to the Safarovs. If one of the primary anxieties of our developers here are systems of power, systems broadly, but systems of power in specific, part of the point of all of this is how those systems have changed the people and what it takes to change back. Systems make us worse. It's extraordinary individuals that make us better. At least that's my read.
I will restore the order here, rest assured.
Listen to me. I am the harbinger of your death. You can choose what it will be like. Yes, everyone must pay their dues. It is fair that you should be the one bringing the news. I have betrayed and renounced you. Why did you do that? Because I had seen you in a sign of my defeat. There was no coincidence that you came to our house, the girl that doomed our entire town. I made one last attempt to avoid that path. I struggled to be defiant. I agree, Anaristi. If more of that could have been threaded through the run, I think it would be better. I think it could be reinforced. And I think they could still keep the duality of Clara in that. She's an extraordinary person, and that's how she changes people. For good or for ill. There's like almost hints of that in her. But if they could have ironed this out, I think this could have been more beautiful. I feel like we're almost going to land this entirely. It's clear that they stopped writing for the last 3-4 days and said, no, right at the end. Skip everything in the middle, go right to the end, so that they can nail the ending. We'll see if it holds up. Can't say I didn't struggle. No. Only my duty as a ruler compelled me to act as I have. You may not believe it, but over these days I've grown to love you. I've always wanted us so badly to have a daughter, a young Mistress Sabarova. You deserve to die, and yet I shall give you a death that will end your path as a ruler with honor, and allow you to fulfill your duty. Death will be a welcome way out for me. Your solution will be better than the bullet to the head, will it not? It will. I shall lay my hands on you and give you a chance to die like Simon Cain died. If you agree, like he did, to give your blood to those in thirst. How will it happen? Every drop of your blood will be turned to medicine that can save the town. You will have accomplished your mission as a ruler. It is the best death I could wish for. Better than the most humane mercy. So you agree? I agree, and I am grateful to you. You won't go back on your promise tomorrow? Of course. Now excuse me, Clara. I'd like to be alone. Farewell. Okay, so Formanoyan, Alexander Savarov. Let's continue.
The bound are so like him in the end. They must give up their lives willingly.
Katerina, listen to me. I am the harbinger of your death. You can choose what it will be like. Let me take a good look at you again, my dear girl. Yes, it's all happened as preordained, not at all as I anticipated. Yet again, I have nothing to reproach fate for. All the signs are in place. A young mistress. My successor. How must I go? Would you like to die as a martyr and a champion of faith? Would you like to save thousands of lives instead of the thousands of lives, lost lives you bear the blame for? Yes, I would. I shall lay my hands on you and give you a chance to die like Simon Cain died. If you agree, like he did, to give your blood to those in thirst. And I shall depart into the land of shadows, not as a fiend fooled by a rat, but as a martyr who has paid for her sins with blood that can heal. I agree. It is a dignified death. Do what you must. It won't happen right now. Soon enough. Whatever you say, my dear girl. Do you agree? I do. When you become their ruler, be kind and fair. Stay true to yourself. Don't take the path Nina took. Work your miracles if you can, and don't yield to temptations. You won't go back on your promise tomorrow? Of course not, silly girl. Till tomorrow then, Katerina. Still require 4 bound ones. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only need 7. Are there 2 that would refuse? Like, if I'm just pathing through town, Anna would be next, then Aspity. Anna is a despicable person. But would she want salvation? That's what I'm wondering in RSD. Am I picking who sacrifices themselves? Or can I convince all 9? Maybe there's a chance at failure in navigating some of these conversations. I know Ruben wants to, and it would be an honor for Ruben. I think Bad Grief wants to. I think there's a part of him that's ashamed of what he's become. Yulia is one of my bound. I feel like she would do it for curiosity's sake. Yeah, she would die for the science of it. Laura would agree because it'd be doing one thing right with her life. Let's see what happens when we talk to Anna. Does she even regret what she's done at all? Would she like to be saved? Day 11, in which the changeling realizes the true meaning of her name and Clara loses the right to exist. Andre is sick. I have 4 sick. I have 3 cures.
I have this flush. My cheeks are burning, aren't they?
I can read my fate in your eyes. Listen to me, Anna. I am the harbinger of your death. You can choose what it will be like. I want my death to be painless. Can you make me die without suffering? Would you like to die a champion and a martyr? Would you like to save thousands of children's lives? Is that even possible? I shall lay my hands on you and give you a chance to die like Simon Cain died. If you agree, like he did, to give your blood to those in thirst. Are you going to take my blood? All of it, Anna. You will feel no pain, only joy. I believe you. Do you agree? If you promise me that my name will be remembered kindly, let me be remembered as a singer. And you won't go back on your promise tomorrow? No, I won't. We'll all die, Anna. Rejoice, for I'm giving you the longest deferment. Hello, Propane Panda. Thank you for those 22 months. Almost. Two rats chasing me. Alright, let's convince Aspity to die.
Yes.
You win, don't you? Aspity, listen to me. I am the harbinger of your death. You can choose what it will be like. Isn't that a little presumptuous? I may yet be the harbinger of yours. Pointless bravado. Are you trying to save face? No, not at all. Well then, let's get started. Will I have time to curse you before I die? Depends on what you choose. Would you like, instead of returning to the Earth, to dissolve into the people of the kin and serve Barak, its new foreman? Hey, that sounds attractive. Yes, I'd prefer a death like that to any other. Was it your doing? Yes. Tell me what you want from me. I shall lay my hands on you and given a chance to die like Simon Cain died. If you agree, like he did, to give your blood to those in thirst. What does Simon have to do with it? A human to try it on the head of Bos will forever remain human, even if the head did fit. I'm already flesh of his flesh. Are you going to give me his blood too? I can see in your eyes that you know the answer already. I do. Such is my fate, it seems. Will the sacrifice be made the moment you lay your hands on me? I won't let you get away. So do you agree? Do I have a choice, mistress? I can't escape you. We might do this conversation again, but I want to ask this. Tell me, Aspity, are you really Earthborn? Are you really a magical being fashioned from clay? Am I really being asked this by a mistress? Now what could I answer that would comfort you? No, of course not. I was born and have lived for all these years as a human. Or maybe not. Maybe I've turned into one. I've changed. I was just trying on your laurels. I was, if you like, a kind of Viserian while you were absent. A changeling. Sly answer. Unambiguous. I agree regardless. I like this finale. It seems quite natural. You're scaring me. It's the outcome no one has been able to predict. I think these people agree regardless of how I approach these conversations. I can ask if they want to die as a sinner for their crimes. And I assume they will say no, and I offer them the alternative. Or I can ask if they'd like to be martyrs, and they can agree. To Reuben. I guess when I'm looking at my adherents, I need to sacrifice 7. I'm asking who do I save? And the path I'm going right now, I'm saving Yulia and Lara. How do we feel about that, chat? If you could only save 2 of the 9 bound, and Foreman Oyun is not an option. Why is it that way? I need 7 of my bound to agree to this, and I have 9. Foreman Oyun is first to join. I have no choice about that. If I only need 7, then I don't need all 9. 2 can live. I will turn their blood into Simon's blood. No, Anna was trying to get Yulia murdered. Anna was trying to get Lara murdered, and Yulia thought it was funny. Hit you with the list. My list are Bad Grief, Stanislav Rubin, Aspity, Yulia Lyrachaeva, Anna Angel, Alexander Saburov, Katerina Saburova, Lara Ravel, and the foreman of the abattoir. Who would you turn into a martyr, and who would you not
Fighting
give the
in streets, isn't
opportunity?
there?
Listen to me, Stock. I am the harbinger of your death, and you can choose what it will be like. Well, that's fair. Simon's murderer deserves to die. I was going to wait for Maria to reach the zenith of her power. I'm curious what punishment the mistress would have chosen for me, but I suppose your idea will be more interesting still. There is, after all, a mystical power within you. Would you like to die like Simon died? Would you like to emulate him? Yes, that would be most fair. Are you going to lay your hands on me? Yes. All right, just remember you have to work with healthy people. It's important. I'll gladly become your first volunteer. If you find others among your bound, make sure they're in good health. And if they were sick and have been healed, some time must pass first. Why? The cells must renew themselves. Doesn't take long, though. Has the Inquisitor endorsed this solution? I've endorsed it. That's what matters. So make sure the Bachelor survives. He knows the secret of the vaccine, as well as Barak, the Haruspex, who knows how to work with the ingredients. Good. It's a wise course of action. If you succeed and save the town, it'll be a genuine miracle. Will you stand by these words tomorrow? Of course. Anytime it's necessary. Then I'll see you tomorrow, Stock. I understand why both of you want to save Reuben. I don't disagree. He is a good and valued member of this society. He's also dead no matter what we do. Maria will kill him. One way or another. Why would you save Grief? I think that's an interesting question. And I want to acknowledge that by choosing them, you are dooming the others. You're dooming Lara and Yulia. And do you think they deserve that?
Where there's carrion, there are crows.
Everybody dies, don't we? Each will die as he lived. Some will ascend, but down is the only direction for others, eh? Anarsti, you haven't missed anything with Bad Grief. I'm curious what you think. Why you would save Bad Grief. That's what I want to know. I feel between Yulia, Lara, and Anna, I'm taking the worst of them out. Prope Panda, I appreciate you like my Bad Grief voice. I feel like it comes and goes. Listen to me, Grief. I am the harbinger of your death. What it will be like is up to you. I've been expecting something like that. One can spot a mistress-to-be from a verst away. Do the speaking then. I'm all ears. Do you want to die a champion, a martyr, and a savior to your people? Yes, mistress. That's exactly how I'd like to die. Like I ever could. I'm going to lay my hands on you and give you a chance to die as Simon Kane died, if you agree to sate the thirsty with your blood, like he did. Simon? Simon was a demigod. His blood... I've heard from Stock about his blood. His was no blood of a human. There's blue blood, and then there's silver blood, eh? And that's what his was. I'll lay my hands on you, and your veins will be filled with golden and silver and blue blood. Cut yourself and you'll see. Blood like that, cut myself would be wasteful. So you agree? I do. Do I even have a choice? Indeed. I'll even be grateful to you. And you won't renounce that tomorrow? I won't, mistress. You better not. Goodbye. This is the end. Aglaia commands me to leave the town at once, but why? What's wrong with my strategy? Is this because my plan answers the goals of the powers that be too well? What kind of an inquisitor is she? She's nothing but a vengeful, malicious imposter. This is the same line from before. I guess we go back to Commander Block and tell him we have our 7. Aglaia is a hater. So yeah, I guess I will put it to you guys. Why would you save Reuben and Bad Grief and possibly Aspity and doom Lara and Yulia when given the choice? I'll be honest, the only one I feel uncertain about from my choices is Anna, because I don't know that she deserves salvation. Which seems really high and mighty for me to have opinions about, let me be clear. This is definitely playing God. But to be remembered as a good person seems inappropriate for Anna to have a chance at.
I can't wait any longer. I've lost 2/3 of my troops here in 2 days.
I found the 7 people. That quickly. Yes, I'm quick. You've just been here and said there were sinners in this town, 9 in total, who could sacrifice themselves for the cause of obtaining transformed blood. Sadly, you said some of them were already incurably ill. You even hinted that their disease had been a consequence of your visit. Evil Clara is going to mess up my plan. I see. Which of them exactly? You named names. Reuben, Formanoyan, the Sabarovs, I've heard about those. Then Anna, Yulia, Aspity, Lara, and Grief. You said some of them were ill now. So, Evil Clara goes to all 9. Everything is lost then, isn't it? Tomorrow, you'll have time to bring them back to life. It's the only hope I have left. Preparations are complete. Tomorrow the miracle may come to pass. I would be happy beyond measure were it not for this awkward premonition that freezes my heart still. I can perform miracles. Just let me. None of them were sick now. I gotta check on everyone now. Alright, let's make a loop. We'll start with Lara. So I'm pretty sure I need to sleep, I need to dream. Alright, let's go, Lara. My reputation is dropping slowly. Okay, she's not sick now. Give me a 4-hour sleep. Okay. I need to find the Bachelor and warn him of the danger he's in. Okay, I assume I got letters. Hold on. These are quests. Where's letters? Okay, hold on. Alexander Block is looking for the Bachelor. Bachelor's in the stone yard, somewhere close to the tombs where he's mourning Maria. Tell him he's being hunted. The Haruspex is searching for him in order to kill him. Haruspex? Aglaia wants me to find him by the works. Large house surrounded by 3 smaller ones. He is in either of the 4. And then my dream. It was just as if she was waiting for me. For as soon as my eyes were shut, she appeared before me. They have betrayed me, she said. My faithfuls have given me up. I only have you now, my soul, my inseparable connection. I would have asked you to join me, but I have no notion of where my feet have taken me. Frightened, I fled to the theater. I ran down the stairs and came to a place which seemed hard to stumble upon. I concealed myself there, a small house between the 2 larger ones. There's no way I could come near the windows, and there's no one here to answer my cries. Find me. Come visit me and comfort me. In return, I will comfort you. Theater, down the stairs. Small house between the 2 larger ones. It's either here or here. Neither of those are in a plague district. She has to be in a plague district. Did she go down these stairs? Putting her here?
Dogs are howling. Why?
Okay. Let's find our sister. I'm gonna go out. Yeah, that's what I thought. It flips me. I'm gonna go here. That's my best guess. The wind is howling. Down the steps. Small house between 2 larger ones. Alright, let's look. We might get infected here, and that's fine. We just need to see if she's actually in this one. Got my dancing shoes on. Huh. I missed. I genuinely didn't expect that. this one either. Okay. There's no stairs here. Unless she means leaving the theater, like the 2 steps in front of the theater. Let's go this way. I do think these little dream puzzles were interesting in the early days, but I think the last couple of days have been a bit messy, if I'm honest. I think intentionally so. They have made them intentionally vague, so you have to trial and error to find some things. Not here. Fled the theater, ran down the stairs, and came to a place which seemed hard to stumble upon. I concealed myself there, a small house between the 2 larger ones. She ran from the theater. There are no small houses in this area at all. Does she mean this? Because that's like closed in. That is hard to get to. That's all I can think. I'm not sure that counts as in a plague district, though. It's not closed in. And it's not between houses. It is infected, though. There you are. You need to leave at once. See, the whole place is infected. You know as well as I do, the infection won't do anything to me. Everything's already dead in here, while elsewhere there are people waiting for you. You'd have adherence. I think I did that wrong. Yeah. I need her to stay. I can't remember the way through this conversation. It's the same conversation every time, but it feels like nonsense every time. Yeah, this is weird. This house isn't infected. It doesn't have boils on the outside. And this is what she's hiding in. Well, that didn't work. I suppose I could take a bunch of pills. I could do that. Make it easier to get through here. Those are antibiotics. Okay, got our immunity way up. Stay here then. I got completely caught up on that. Awful. I don't think that time got me sick. Whatever. Okay. Get back to it. Get out of the house. Okay, great. Now we find the horror specs. Somewhere in the works. In the adjacent district. A house surrounded by 3 smaller ones. Which I think is this area. This is the works. A large house surrounded by 3 smaller ones. All of these look the same size, except this. What is she talking about? Okay. One moment. I have to make sure I know what the works is. I'll be right. Also, I've got a Twitch message apparently, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I am right. This is the works. Where would you call a cluster of 4 houses? So that's 3 and that's 3. Is it this? Is this a large house and these smaller houses? She says it's in the works or the adjacent district, but I don't see a cluster of 4 out here either. Let's head here. I think that's my best bet. At least it is fast to check for the horror specs. I'll know I'm in the right house when I'm being chased down by an Adong, who I will then shoot. Taylor and Ruin by a game of hide and seek. I guess. I don't need to find the Bachelor. That's just money, and I have never needed money. Which I think is actually a strange thing about Clara's run. Of all the mechanics in the game, I just don't need cash. Okay, yeah. I will call that a large house and these smaller houses. No entrance on this side, that's fine. I do think Clara shooting Butchers and Odong is probably the weirdest thing in her run. It just doesn't make any sense thematically, narratively. It's just a thing I have to do.
My teeth hurt with all the grinding.
Okay, that hurt my reputation a lot, but I have sold out my sister successfully for another panacea.
The soldiers rose up against one another. They say it's because of that bull in the lot.
Bachelor's after you. Goliath's worried about you. That helps my reputation a tiny amount. Let's find a poor person to give a whole bunch of money to. Soldiers are... Yep, they're threatening me. I suppose I can kill burglars so my reputation's better. Oh, except that was the last of my bullets. Four cures. Not gonna shoot me? Good, not gonna shoot me anymore. That's a start. I still need to trade with a Smouter child if I could, so let's go to Bad Grief, buy whatever ammo he has. Then we can shoot burglars till everyone will trade with me, no problem. And then I think we get a safety schmouter for tomorrow. Just one, though. I think my monitor is slowly acquiring dead pixels. I'll have to give it a proper cleaning. I'm gonna hit up the tailor shops for as many sewing needles as I want. Propane Panda, what's the specs on the monitor? 1080p, 60 hertz.
What?
$15,000, half my money. You know what I don't need? A bunch of stuff. Okay. Not gonna need Novocaine either. Propane Panda, we may talk later about the monitor. We'll see what happens. I'll give my monitors a good cleaning. It's been forever, so maybe that'll be enough. Alright, Bad Grief's not sick, Ruben's not sick, Laura at least is not sick, so I'm calling my sister a dumb liar. None of them are sick. Everyone will be healthy tomorrow. Now, one more person may get sick at the stroke of midnight. I actually don't know. So, I'm going to do a despicable thing. And we're going to save scum ourselves to another schmouter. What's wild is I've been in a handful of houses now. Got raw meat on there. And the Schmouter girl is always upstairs, tucked away like this. Nothing. It's like they knew. It's just, it is just part of the experience. That's so weird to me to think that this is part of intended play. There's a Schmouter. What do you want? 10 needles? Let's get some flowers. And some nuts. Okay, that worked out actually quite well. 5 cures, I know of 4 sick people. Let's go cure them now. I have 2 panaceas. Georgie, Victor, Peter, and Andre. Who would you curse with a bad liver, but save their life? I know this won't matter, but... I will fully admit I did enjoy the role play in the Bachelor's run about who I gave panaceas and who I gave schmouters to. I chose. So the 4 sick people in my run right now are the Stamatin brothers, both Peter and Andre, and Georgie and Victor Kane. 2 Kanes, 2 Stamatins. Which means the Bachelor has been just screwing up. He's been doing a very bad job. They are 4 of his bound. Forever. Okay. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the Kanes deserve it, right? The Stamatins just want to be left alone. Okay, Propane Panda, what I'm doing is my reputation is still a little low. So I am curing the sick with my magic hands. If they touch me, I'll get infected. But if I take the time, and it spends a little bit of health, I can cure the walking sick. You're running, you're not going to talk to me at all. Oh, okay, let's go. Once we get these people cured, we'll save, we'll cure people, we'll save, we go to sleep. Tomorrow, we go talk to the powers that be again. We save the town. Okay. You bastard. Rat out of nowhere. Home stretch. Home stretch. Ugh, geometry. No rats following us. Hard save. Cure the sick. Victim of carelessness behind this door. Victim of your negligence of a doctor's duty. I have a box of the children's schmouter. It could help. This will cripple them for the rest of their life. They will burn all their insides along with the plague. Are you sure you want to save them from the disease at this cost? Yes, give it to them.
That does it. I'm going to break soon.
Georgie? If someone gets sick at midnight, they get a schmouter, because it's what I have. I don't think Murky's gotten sick. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone I would have missed. We can always check on them tomorrow when the town is clear. Make sure I have food. Do technically need to not starve tomorrow. Fresh meat, delicious egg, and bread. Perfect. It's a whole breakfast. Was there an achievement for dying on day 12? Not that I'm aware of. Does feel like there should be. I do think there's an achievement called something like that, where they straight up say it's your fault to counter the it's not your fault. I don't know what that is, but I gave Peter medicine, so I can't give him a panacea. Okay. Well, then let's go to sleep. We will cure the stomatins in the morning. I go to sleep in my bed. 5 minutes to midnight. Oh, it's still 2 hours to midnight, isn't it? I misread that. Yep, 2 hours to midnight. Let's head towards the theater. That's fine. Yes, daylight savings time. Very different in Russia. Bless me. Flame troops? Very obnoxious. Okay, come on. You know what? Let's equip our gun for rats. Extreme overkill. Really? I was outside that hitbox. Oh. Just get to Capella's. Sleep there. I should have just stayed in bed 2 more hours. Fine, we go this way this time. All the way to the end, the game just won't let me have peace.
The day is over. Your timely efforts allowed your supporters
Hello,
to remain
Beanie Baby.
unharmed. A new mime
The
performance is
children
being rehearsed
no
at the
longer
theater.
remember me.
We are coming up on the end here. The end of the whole thing. We are playing Clara, and we just hit day 12. Mine time.
Whatever you do, you'll have to sacrifice something.
Destruction is inevitable. There's no miraculous way out.
So that's what their thought process is, see? There was nothing to hope for from the start. Each of them should simply fulfill their purpose. At least, we'll see which one works best.
Each of them wants to save that which is dear to them. Perhaps they could get along.
Out to the question. The meeting chamber is tight, with the general sitting at one side of the table and the Inquisitor sitting at the other. Only one of them will decide. The others will die.
That's me. Too cool for school. Hey, Mark.
Yes.
I would have no future if not for you. The cause that I serve could fail without me. Thank you. What kind of future is destined for you? The town will be rebuilt. We will transfer it to the other side of the river. The land is clean there. Nobody will disturb us. The polyhedron will become the foundation of a new settlement, just like the abattoir had become one for the doomed settlement, and a new era will set in. I'm afraid this time will never come. We are too few now. I won't succeed by myself, of course. Every person counts. Do you know how many of us have survived? My mission here is not yet complete. There will be enough of you. Alright. Day 12. Should be a clean map. Let's go talk to our bound and make sure no one else is sick. Yep, that's a baby in the polyhedron. The miracle and the earth living together. Still have to cure the stomatins. Can't forget. Now, I did not mark Lara or Yulia for death, I wonder if they will mention that. I kind of doubt it. I don't think the game can accommodate that, but... Oh yeah. Hard save. Let's get this last day going.
My path was called the House of the Living. I used to be the kindest. I couldn't have known I was to meet my father's murderer.
I bow to thee, Mistress of the Earth. What's on your mind, Lara? Oh, nothing really. Tell me, how much life-giving blood will you be able to make from me? How many doses will it be? No less than 150, I believe. According to Ruben, anything up to 500. Oh, that's a lot. Even in a lifetime of relentless activity, I could never have saved or created that many people. Lara, why you too? How did you of all people end up among the wicked? Self-sacrifice is something one must go about competently. I was incompetent. Yeah, that tracks. It's just nonsense. Simon failed too. That's why you're making the decisions and not him. Or are you him now? Are you raving? No one is more similar than you and Simon. Even we, the Bound, are mere playthings. Well, you are humans with a capital H, such as I could never have given birth to even if I had got married. Did you want to? Sorta. Not really, but I'd often think about it at night. No point in hiding my sins anymore. But that was all a pipe dream. Go ahead. Do what you must. Poor thing. I'm so sorry for you. I wouldn't want to carry your burden. Terrifying to bear. Yet it would be wrong to refuse it. It's no sin at all. You deserve solace. What do I think of the three protagonists? What I think of the protagonists and what I think of the playthroughs are probably slightly different. On a whole, I really feel for the Bachelor. Daniel Dankovsky does everything he can to try to make things right, and he messes up a lot along the way, but that also doesn't feel like his fault. I can't blame him for duplicitous people. And the way his run played, at least for me, his ending felt less vital than it's portrayed in the others. That in Artemis' run, the Bachelor's ending is depicted as without evacuation. But in the Bachelor's run, there's nothing that indicates that that's what's going to happen. I'll continue in a moment.
I'm afraid I'm of little use now. What?
Do you have any parting words for me? You're an observer of people. What do your calculations indicate? Wait, give yourself a moment's pause. Are you sure you want to know what my research has yielded? You see, whether or not you take my calculations seriously, the moment you learn the results, you will have no choice but to act them out. This is merely my way of seeing the matter, though. So, what do you say? Would you like to set off this tripwire of mine? I do. It won't do me any harm, in my humble opinion. You remain an indefinite value. As such, you have walked the road that lies behind you. Your refusal to be categorized was your strongest weapon. However, this advantage will be stripped from you as soon as you permutate into a constant. And frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens before the day is over. What kind of value will you will become? That's the only actual choice you have. I'm not Constance, I'm Clara. This is of no importance. Don't try to translate your perplexity into language that is legible to us. Cease this wordplay of yours. Didn't you see everyone disappear? You won't see anything but raw vectors now, lines along which your effort may be applied. Well, really. Why did our paths cross, Yulia? Why are you one of the criminals and the wicked? I don't qualify as wicked, But you can call me criminal, in a way. Don't conflate the two. You see, I'm of the opinion that it was your duty to end us. Didn't I just tell you? There are no people anymore. Symbols are all that we have left. We all represent opportunities that you have missed. The 9 ways to get swallowed by the deathly quagmire. What? You should be grateful to me for having replaced you. Otherwise it would have been you, and not me, to rot in this desolate place I am consigned to. You would have been left hanging by your strings. You wanted to rule over people's fates, too. I understand. So yeah, I deeply feel for the Bachelor and his playthrough. Dealing with Willow there is heart-wrenching. But there are more horrible things. It's very cruel. And I enjoyed is the wrong word, but that playthrough means a lot to me. Artemis Run, I expected to feel more on my way through it. The way fandoms talk about it. And I understand that that's probably colored by Pathologic 2, which I have not played through yet. I decided to do this first. But through that, I found myself struggling. Maybe it's because I'm too Western. I'm too close to Daniel's upbringing. But as I approached the end, as I said, human sacrifices don't make the grass grow. There are ways in which Artemis is just wrong, and that bothers me. I understand the mysticism and symbolisms in the game, but it still just felt off. And I never quite was pulled through to the other side there in the way that I expected. In ways, Artemis remained a brute the whole way through. It's still good and meaningful, but I expected it to pull at me more than it did.
My eyes look just like buttons, don't they?
I also expected to spend more time encountering the children, and again, I know Pathologic 2 really plays into that more, but in here, I felt like I was still dealing with the same political powers even as Artemis.
Matchmakers are coming, trying to woo me. My path was called the Rat Prophet. I didn't know it was him who spoke to me in my sleep. Till the very end, I thought it was the Earth.
For as long as you're alive, you'll remain the mistress. It's I who bow to you. Heed my final advice, dear daughter. Be smart. Don't repeat my mistakes. You will not be alone here. Maria is ascending to the fullness of her powers, right now, at the same time as you, whilst Capella, the tardy one, will take a few more years to awaken. Do you understand what this means? No, not quite. What? A period of your antagonism with Maria is beginning. Along what lines will it be? Which of you will be the good one and which one wicked? It will be up to the Canes once again to determine the meaning of good and evil. Who are you to take the good path if Maria doesn't choose the evil one? Why divide everything in good and evil right away? Could that have been your mistake? Our mistake? That was what I thought, till I chose my own dark path. I thought the conflict was not between good and evil, that neither good nor evil existed. That wasn't true, for it is in the nature of humans to translate even a dichotomy of red and green into the language of good battling evil. We are doomed to make choices. But did you really choose evil? I now think I did. Nina could control it at the time, and I couldn't. Nor was Nina wearing the black tiara. But don't put your trust in what is more alluring, more attractive. That is usually where evil lies. And I'd still like to ask you about my sister. Did she exist or didn't she? Back then? A week ago? What kind of an answer would you like me to give? A truthful one. She didn't, daughter. We had you and only you. You showed up many times and were different each time. I know, a mistress cannot lie. I think Clara's run is interesting, but clearly mechanically there was more to do. They were clearly rushed, they ran out of money, they ran out of time. But I think there are small improvements I would do, tones, changes, even if they had the money to fill in a lot of the days with more proper side quests and narrative. I think I would change small things about the overall scope.
I will restore the order here, rest assured.
I'm not sure I'll want to accept that title, Mistress of the Earth. A mistress is not a title. Once you have crossed a certain line, you become the person everything hinges upon. How you will use this gift is a different matter, but you are no longer in a position to refuse it. So what disposition are you going to make of our town? Do you have any parting advice to give me? You are truly a saint. Or could my reason be so clouded with grief that I fail to hear the sarcasm in your voice? No, I wouldn't want to think so. Do you really want to hear a few behests from me? Yes, I'll do what you weren't able to do, Father. After all, the adverse fortunes that marred your brief tenure as a ruler were quite extraordinary. And I will be concise. First, find someone among the Kanes or the Olginskis on whom you can rely on as yourself. Let them preside over the Bull Project. Let them send reports to the capital. Metropolitan bureaucrats are the greatest menace. They doze off when the freight trains arrive on schedule, but wake up the moment something goes wrong. Why is that a threat for us? They will not let us build our life the way it was intended. The brittle magic of our community will be trampled underfoot. Our erstwhile blissful existence will be irrevocably gone. Everything will be completely different. New people will arrive, and the deadening power of the state will lay down its own law here. Do not let that happen, as we didn't let it happen before. Are bureaucrats that easy to mislead? Of course, damn it. We've always been misleading them. Our great advantage is that they don't take us seriously. As far as they're concerned, we are a factory and a railway junction. Beyond that, they know nothing. See, even the Inquisitor hasn't learned everything. Just like that. Really. Of course. Should an inspector arrive, take them to the town hall at once. Say that the abattoir is out of operation, and quarantine the termitary, whatever is going on inside it. If they want to take a stroll around the town, take them to the Chime. And the Polyhedron, tell them it's a temporary obelisk, a fairground attraction. I don't know how to talk to bureaucrats. You'll do fine. You'll devote yourself to other things. You'll be spinning our yarn. When your chosen regent must be cunning, he must learn to mislead them, to mask our distinctiveness. He must not let them redevelop the northeast line any further east than the Gorgon estuary. He must be cautious. I know what to do. Those who favor hard logic and direct action are bound to be misguided. But I can work miracles. My hands are untied. I was discussing earlier, Beanie Baby, that I found it interesting that Clara's run starts her being born from the earth. And in the end, she decides to stay, to cure the town, to help the town. Continuously. She must serve as a mistress, one of the three pillars. When that's already Artemis' path, he's returning home, but it does speak to Savarov's character that he spends his last moments trying to direct the future of the town. And RSD, you are correct. He wants me to be the best version of myself, but also he wants his influence to last.
Oh boy.
Wow. You're not one of my bound. I just needed to cure you. So yeah, Clara's run ending with her holding herself up as a pillar of the town, same as Artemy, strikes me as very odd. It's not what I would do with her. I don't know if I would have her go on, or vanish, or ascend, or what exactly. Fold back into the earth somehow. But as is, I feel like there's something missing. Something more can be done with her metaphor, with how she ends. It feels like a missed opportunity. I am deeply bothered that this blue light has never mattered. There has never been anything in this room, and this light shining in this way has meant nothing in all 3 runs. This bothers me just as much as the train car that gets guarded on day 9 or 10 or whatever, and has nothing in it. Sticky, you're not my bound. You're cured. You're fine. I was just checking to make sure you're not sick. Favorite NPCs that stick out as interesting. Till Clara makes him confess, I felt in both the Bachelor's run and Artemy's run that Bad Grief is the only one who never lies to you. Ever. He is the most forthright person. He is a scoundrel and a thief, and he's upfront about that. He helps everybody in his own way. Having Clara hypnotize him and him confess that the knife wielders do work for him, I think ruins his character. I think that's a mistake. He needs some other sin to confess to. Otherwise, Bad Grief stands out immensely. And it's not just the accent. I think he's a great character who is forthright with everyone. I think Lara is deeply sad and sympathetic, but I appreciate seeing a good person who is just failing. She's just weak and ineffective. She doesn't fail in the way the Bachelor fails. She fails like less dramatically. It's sadder that way. And young Vlad is, I think, the greatest villain in any video game. He is a character that I have come to hate passionately, deeply, firmly. He has replaced other villains for me. I have an emotional reaction to the very thought of him. No one has gotten me there like him. I don't like Big Vlad either. I think there are many villains in here. I think Maria and the kinds have plenty to answer for. But young Vlad is an abomination. Passionately hate him. What about you, Beanie Baby? Who sticks out to you? What are your thoughts on the characters? I'm curious now that I've finally gotten through all of this, to engage with this on other people. I assume, since you're sticking around, since you were looking for Pathologic on Twitch and are speaking English instead of Russian, that you have played through this and have thoughts and feelings. sure. Ava is... She's built to make you feel things, and she does succeed in ways. I will say that I do think Artemis' run is the better world. Finishing his run and young Vlad is dead and Ava lives. That feels good. That feels like the world is correct. Here in Clara's run, Ava just vanishes. It wasn't ever really properly acknowledged, and I suspect that that's a funding writing issue. Okay, I was like, Odong, are you here for me too?
I'm a servant. I was broken by will.
And you, Formino Yun, why have you crossed my path? It's no coincidence, I know. I am a monster, mistress, a chimera. You were right when you called such human-like, double-natured beings demons. It is good that you'll destroy me with your magic hands. The evil I stand for will go down with me. It is unnatural to be double-natured. Your grandfather was a bull, wasn't he? True. You can see yourself that my bloodline must be terminated. Evil channels through me, as it does through your counterparts. Someone dark had been stirring behind their backs before you came along and took charge. Now that dark soul is no longer with them, so you ought to drive them out. Don't let them loose. I have no fear. I won't. Beanie Baby, have you seen Codex Entry's Bachelor playthrough? It's a YouTuber called Ruby, username Codex Entry. It's 2 videos totaling 8 or 9 hours, I think. I was introduced to Pathologic, like many, by HBomberGuy, but it was Codex Entry that convinced me I needed to play it for myself. I had tried a couple of times and I'd bounced off many times, just like HBomberGuy talks about. I think Codex Entry's videos are true works of art that are absolutely worthwhile. It was watching that made me go, okay, I can do this. I know how to do this now, and I need to play through everything. I can't wait for them to do videos on the other runs. Once I've finished this, I owe them a great donation. They have more than earned it. This has been a 1.5 years of my life now, playing for 2 hours every Tuesday I can. It's gone very slowly, but this has been very worth it. I highly recommend it. Their dramatization is very good. And I think the best way for people to experience this, I still can't recommend this game to other people for all of the same reasons everyone else says it. But I can recommend those videos. If you can sit down to a 4-hour YouTube video, those are worth it. Okay. Oh, I suppose I need to cross over to Anna, don't I? And I gotta get Andre. Let's do that. Yeah, this is too much, and it takes too long, and there's just too much broken. I'm very glad I did it, but I still can't recommend anyone else do this. Not at all. I am going to try. I stream on Sundays as well, and on Sundays, my family will watch. And I'm going to try to stream Pathologic 2 on those Sundays so that my family can see some part of some of this. I know this is probably still too deep, too heady for them. They don't play games like this. But I feel like I have to try. I have to show this to somebody, to more people. Good. Alright, he's good. He's no longer sick. Propane Panda, I hope you are there for those streams as well, because I think you will be an interesting influence in that chat. And yeah, I understand Pathologic 2 is built for people who occasionally like some serotonin. That's how it's been described to me.
Life is hard.
Look at me, Anna. You're afraid, aren't you? Look at me, Clara. Why did I chance to cross your path? What do you think? Could it be so that I could sing an ode to fear and give you a vivid example of what that leads to? Would you say that's why you've ended up among the wicked? Of course it is. You've understood everything already. What does the caravan have to do with it? A children's boogeyman, one of those silly stories they tell each other after dark. Maybe it never existed. Maybe I never was with the caravan. Take a look at me. How could I possibly have been a singer? So you're a liar, too. I am an embodiment of fear. I live in a world that's made of fear entirely. I may not have become a singer, but I've become the voice of fear. And fear has an unpleasant voice. Shrill, whiny, capricious, utterly unmusical. Well, she is correct that this is how she sounds. This is fantastically descriptive of your entire character. So if you're like that, why did our paths cross? Probably to prevent you from becoming like me. A voice, an entrancing voice, sweet as a dream and beckoning, is what you and I have in common. Do you understand? That's where we intersect, not the caravan, not at all. Forget the caravan. You, on the other hand, won't stop thinking about it. You're hiding something, Anna. You're still hiding something. What is this caravan? How did it get here? Ask the powers that be. You've paid them a visit already, haven't you? They'll tell you what the plague is for and what the caravan is for. It's their games. Fair enough, fair enough. Which means it's not all that important in the end. So, is it going to hurt a lot when it's my turn? I don't know, but I think not. A brief moment of pain, and then you'll attain an eternal life, dissolving in a multitude of hearts. To Aspity. I feel like nearly all of Clara's Bound are talking to me directly instead of Clara, which is a fun way to end this. I think that's correct. That feels good. It is not weird to say you like Aspity. I think Aspity is a great, interesting character. I like her design in Pathologic 2 better. I find her more intimidating there, which is how I feel like she should be. But I think she might be the only character I truly feel that way for. I think Bad Grief's animations are good. But I've played through the Marble Nest. That one I've done. I have not completed Pathologic 2. I tried and I bounced off a couple times, but I think Aspity's character design in Pathologic 2 is
There's a hole
real
under
good.
my heart. My path was called Earth. I could have told you why the thick soil has nothing to do with the catastrophe.
Well, sister, it's time to say our farewells. So it is. Can't say I'm not glad. Why? Everybody's glad to see me. What could possibly make me glad to see you? You're my more successful rival. You have become what I couldn't. I'm jealous of you. There's nothing to be jealous about, silly. I've gone from a saint to a priestess of blood, a miraculous meat grinder. Oh, yes. I wanted it to be me striding across the town in triumph, me going from house to house carrying death on my black wings, me choosing who deserves retribution. An enviable role, that. But look at what I've become instead. A slave to the kin, a household familiar, a keeper of relics. Isn't it something to be proud of? I was saving the seat of power for a worthy successor, but I couldn't save that successor's subjects. You've killed them. I've saved who I could, and I'll save even more. Come on, what's done is done. It's not like one could choose one fate retroactively, or change that part of it which has already been fulfilled. One could. I can. That's what these things called miracles are about. It feels like there's an implication there that evil Clara was Aspity. I know that that's the way some people read it, that Aspity is the Shabnak deer. Aspity is the plague incarnate somehow. And, like, I think there's some evidence to suggest that kind of thing. I just don't think that's true. I don't think that makes her more interesting. I think it's much better if she is of the kin. If she's what amounts to a school teacher, an advisor, a wise woman. I feel like if I were to give Aspity a name, it is Storyteller. She is whoever she needs to be for the person she is meeting. To those that need or deserve kindness, she is kind. And to those that need to be told they are being idiots, she will tell them. That feels important. That feels like a very important role in the manner of this town. I agree that these are great characters. Every single one of them. Every single character here feels complete like a person in a way that many characters don't in other works. She's clearly kin. She's clearly kin, and she is clearly of the earth. I agree with all of those things. I was just checking to see if you're sick. You're not. Let's check if Murky is sick. Murky better not be sick. I would hate to give Murky a schmouder. They don't deserve that. Okay, no beakheads. Murky's good. To bad grief. I saw a discussion on the game asking if there was anything you'd like to have confirmed as canon, what would it be? And I appreciated people's response that they would prefer to have things uncanonized to make things more mysterious.
Where there's carrion, there are crows.
And I feel that way about Bad Grief. Bad Grief's reveal that he was in charge of the knife wielders, that Barley the Butcher was working for him. I think that's, if we could uncanonize that, I think it'd be better. Not out of fear, I hope. Out of love, little tot. Pure love, all white and crunchy like freshly starched linen and all. Come on, think about it. Who do I got to go fearing? No one. For as you've most correctly guessed, I ain't feared Barley too. And the fear, you'd ask, just for show. Although I do fear myself, I suppose. Have you really changed so much? Then for this alone, these 12 days have been worth living. Back then, you see, you figured out the sheer scale of my nastiness, just how much of a villain I was, didn't you? And then you just froze in place, and my heart sank, and I thought, so much for ever being forgiven. That's the little tot that's gonna condemn me. But you didn't. You forgave me. I was never the same again. I'd be happy to give my life for you now, I swear to God, in my own accord. Happy, honestly. You won't find a more faithful servant from now on, no ma'am. For I have repented. All my cutthroats would die for you too. What is your command, mistress? My life for you, me, becoming like Simon. Could I have even imagined? But even the old man could never become someone like you. Please stop talking like that. Who are we when you come to think about it? What are we? Bunch of walking corpses we are, condemned to death the moment you're born. A bunch of dolls in the hands of the powers that be, eh? And you two, you're the real humans. But he, Simon, was a proud human, you see. 'Twas for our sake that he'd make himself into what he was. And you, holy dove, you have surpassed him for our sakes as well. Have I really? We don't know that yet. See, what a sincere conversation. Just coming to the end of Bad Grief's like, hey, thanks for playing. That feels good. Deep and sincere from the bottom of our hearts, thanks for playing, or this would have been a huge waste of time.
If there's enough people like me, the town will stay the same. We'll surrender ourselves to Clara unregretted. A rotten life belongs to the new mistress.
Tell me, what's it going to be like when, the time comes? Do you want the exact details? I'm gonna have to settle down here, aren't I? Locke is inviting you to come along. He'd like to take you away with his army, right? It's not the issue. But you can be in both places at once, can't you? Such is your nature. You'll stay here with us forever, and at the same time, you'll go to war alongside Block and his army. Your nature could easily allow there to be two of you. You're talking about spiritual grace, right? Whereas I'm talking about myself. Well then, this is how I see it. We will be vigilant at all times. As soon as there's a new outbreak somewhere, we'll board up that house at once. Or that district if need be. Thankfully it can be done, given the peculiar town planning here. My master did that 5 years ago. You'll immediately pick someone from among your bound and... What if they refuse to become a donor? They won't. Once they've given consent, they'll stay true to their word, or else our being bound would amount to nothing. So you think all I have to do is just lay my hands on them once and it will be done? I don't think once will be enough. I think you'll have to do it in public to avoid rumors and speculations. At any rate, I'll make the extracts and see what happens. We'll try this and that. That sounds a bit too mechanical, for lack of a better word. Your role in this is a mechanical one. Ask the masked executors. They're already excitedly sharing details with each other. My role? What role? I don't know. That's up to you. So we've gone full circle? Make sure young Vlad's not sick. Curious. Okay. No new letters yet. I suppose it's not 7 yet. Final proceedings. This is the last day we have left. The choice has to be made. I am making the choice. My past will be solidified by this decision. If I proceed with the final miracle, it will define me as a wonder worker and a thief. If I give up, it will mean I was the embodiment of pestilence and the weapon of the law. But the powers that be, are they not a bunch of frightened children? Why else would they be so fascinated by miracles? I thought I was the puppet. Now it seems to be the other way around. Is this not a trap? Was this twist not foreseen by the makers, though? If the miracle is the way to overcome the inevitable, can a miracle be done at someone else's bidding? Is this not a trap? What shall I do? How shall I free myself? Shall I refuse to perform miracles even though I am able? Is this not a trap? The clock is ticking. The initiation reaches its extremity. Oh, yeah, I completely agree. Ruben is doing everything he can. He is ill-equipped and aware of it, but he also accomplishes things. He can't see that for himself. He can't take credit for it. But he's the one who makes the vaccine. Just a brilliant, sad man. Young Vlad, not sick. Capella. Oh yeah, we're going a little long. I didn't even notice. That's okay, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna finish the whole thing. We know Mark's okay. I wonder if I should find time to sleep 4 hours today. See if I get one last dream. You think Peter is interesting? Please say more. Please keep talking. What are your thoughts on Peter? Okay. Capella and Big Vlad are okay. Already done Laura and Yulia, so we head in. You you say his house speaks for him, do you mean how there's scaffolding on the outside like it's still being built? Or how it is filled with bottles to tell you about his problems? Or the sketches on the wall? You see that he is still always working? Or his statue that says he's very clearly in love with Maria? Perhaps all of those things. Maria's not here because she's in the cathedral, but she's not sick. Maria got sick? Maria got sick right at the end? Wow. Maria can have a schmouter. All the Canes get schmouters. Daniel, did you do anything in this run? Daniel dropped the ball so hard. Georgie, Victor... You're gonna tell me I can't come in yet. Came too early. The queens of this chessport are assembling to decide the fate of what remains of the story. Little town at 7 p.m. Right now the cathedral is closed. I have crippled all of the Canes, and therefore already sowed the seeds for my final ascension as the true ruler of this town. I will topple the other pillars. As Capella is not yet in her full power, I will overpower her without Maria to keep me in check. I am the final god of this realm. Or something like that. Today is the final day. You have less than 14 hours to make the right choice. Day 12, on which it becomes possible to do the impossible. Okay. 1 second. A Haruspex says goodbye. The Beakheads say you're the only one to have figured out how the true victory can be achieved. They believe that you alone can prevail. This may well be true. They know many things that I don't. What I do know, however, is that they are rotten to the core. I have found my own path to victory, I think. Believe it or not, it is simple. But don't reject it in a hurry. Perhaps this is also the only way for you to save yourself. The Bachelor says goodbye. A high-flying bird you've become. The executors are watching you, barely able to hide a smile. And I don't like their smirks one bit. Soon enough, you are going to see that they were not smiling because they were happy for you. Beware, if you may. We were both trapped. Each one of us has suffered a tailor-made deception. They say you are not like me, and this is not something I would argue with. Moreover, I've just found out something utterly ridiculous about myself. Hopefully, your fate will not be a reiteration of my own. Be very careful, anyway. Self-assurance is your worst enemy. I've learned of at least one way to achieve victory. Perhaps it may work well enough for you. Come see me if you will. Give me the benefit of the doubt, so to speak. Farewell message of the powers that be. Clara! We want to say goodbye to you. Farewell! You've been the most interesting one to play with. If you want to talk to us, come over to the polyhedron. Careful not to mix the facets. We are at the very bottom, in the middle of it. Count to 5 and you'll see us under the lamp. 9 of your friends have gathered here. They too want to say goodbye. Did you speak to them yet? Remember, they're scared and they miss you. I was gonna say, nothing else has changed. Okay. Is the Bachelor in here? Do I have to talk to him to invite him? Let him know his bounder, okay?
This headache is splitting. I need some rest.
Blimey, look who's here, the Demon Huntress. I hope you've got your stake of aspenwood with you, and silver, lots of it. You're still a slave to your worldview. Indeed? As it happens, I've discovered the meaning of my freedom. Of course you have, liar. So listen how my plot's unfolded. As you probably know, I've been deceived 3 times by people I sincerely trusted. First, the powers that be, then the Inquisitor, and now, finally, I found out what the point of the whole affair is. I'm a plaything, and so, undoubtedly, are you. I'm more than a plaything, Bachelor. Really? Then could you please make it so that I could show up at the council and present the commander with arguments in favor of the following arrangement? The corrupt town disappears from the face of the earth and the polyhedron stays. It's aseptic and, damn it, it's simply worthy of preserving. What does that require? If my bound are alive, I'll be with you at the council. Are you sure they really are alive? Do you really want me to come to the cathedral and join the council? Yes, your bound are alive and well. I'm counting on you. Let's go talk to the powers that be, and then we'll talk to the Haruspecs. Then we'll meet the Makers. I'm glad I got that last schmouter. I think all 3 of my playthroughs I had exactly as many cures as I needed. Okay, one last walk up the steps. Hey, Khan. This VoD is going to get demonetized for whale noises. This music here in the polyhedron is the only thing that gets content claimed. It is very obnoxious. Why are you here? Go away. I'm scared. You're scary. I've come to play with you a little before I go. Nothing. Why are you scared, little girl? What did you say your name was? Oh, Thresh. Did you make it up for the game? Uh-huh. So that I don't catch the disease. So you're afraid of a plague disease. How could you possibly catch it? Anything can happen. One doesn't trifle with such things, you know? Sometimes it's all fun and games till it happens for real. That's what I keep telling Measley, but he wouldn't listen. Well, he's picked himself quite a witching name, too. Just in case. How old are you, child? I don't know. Not old. You may be a great big dummy, but we're still the same height. It's because I'm hunkering. That's why we're the same height, see? Clara's here. Hi, Clara. So, you're not a changeling anymore? What kind of question is that? Uh-oh. You're not going to hurt us, are you? I just asked because I was curious. There. Why would I hurt sad little things like you? If you like, you can ask us questions and we'll answer. The ones who were here before you here loved asking us questions, and we didn't mind. We'll give great answers, explaining everything and all. Look, this here, with the whole pebbles. It's the abattoir. And that over there, can you imagine, is the polyhedron. You know what? How about you tell me instead who your favorites are? Favorites? Mine is this, this foreman. Great big one. That's who I like the most. The Harspex is alright too. I always want to know which of them wins the fight in the end. And Thresh loves Lara, that doll over there. No, I was asking about us, the protagonists. Do you want me to tell you honestly or dishonestly? Honestly. Well, we don't particularly like you. You're weird. The Bachelor, that one's alright, except it's a shame he's got that suitcase completely attached to him. I wonder if I should tear it off. Don't. He won't be able to do his work then. A letter from the makers. Please do come by to meet us at the theater if you have a spare minute. We'd like to have a rather inconsequential but mature talk with you. We apologize in advance for the inconvenience. The people who executed the whole thing. We'll make sure the Harspex is at the cathedral first, and then we will meet the makers. And quick save before we do so we can talk to them more than once. Okay. I kind of like the idea of the double nature of Clara being because the kids are in disagreement. It's definitely how I felt like I played. Keeping my reputation up by hunting muggers at night. I always felt that was one of the kids going, and she's got superpowers! Yeah! to Artemy, to the theater. Long walk both. Quick save just in case the game crashes for some dumb reason. Don't want to have to walk up and down those steps one more time. If I wanted to get philosophical about the kids liking the NPCs more than protagonists, it's because the protagonists finish the game. They end the play. Lara and the foreman keep the play going. They keep things interesting. I wonder if I'll like the architecture better in the sequel. I've seen the character models, most of them at least. And I definitely have some feelings about some of them. They serve a different purpose there sometimes. But I do find the portraits and the character models in this very effective. The architecture has always been a character as well, and I wonder if in Pathologic 2 I will feel that. I do think we're going to get more of both the Tragedian and the Executors. We'll get more of their characters. They'll be more involved. I think that'll be interesting. I think this is still my favorite song of the game.
The town can be cleansed. I know how to make enough panacea now.
So, do you still think I'm a demon? Appears you've been helpful. Without you, Reuben wouldn't have discovered what my calling was. And in the meantime, I've realized what my mission is. Yes? Do tell me, please. It's very interesting. How did you wriggle out of that trap? I didn't. I'm a hero. Better to be trapped hero than a free cripple, isn't it? Really? Bachelor at least figured out he was a puppet. No, I'm not a puppet. Must be because I never figured it out. What else do you plan on surprising me with? Do you really not care? I'm not a toy, changeling. I am Artemi Barak, a Haruspex who knows the lines, a warden who has fulfilled his mission and reconciled his father's spirit with the earth, and has made the correct choice. That's who I am. Do you understand? I feel like I'm having a moment that Aglaya does in the Haruspex run, where he's just so frank about who he is and what he wants that it doesn't matter. That he just doesn't play politics, So the Inquisitor is taken aback by him there. He just wants to cure people. And here, I don't care about the meta story. I don't care that I'm in a video game. I'm helping people. That's what I do. You're a believer in salvation through ignorance? I must admit, I'm a bit confused, but it was for the better. It allowed me to escape the iron grip of my preordainment. I'm content with being able to choose within my heart. The creators of this dilemma had limited your choice to 2 options. I'm content with as much regardless. If you give me a chance to choose, you can be sure I'll choose the most humane solution. The most human one. The town will suffer. The town is an instrument. It was made for humans, not the other way around. But you're not human. What makes you think so? I'm as human as they come, and no amount of your insults will change that. Wait, I think I'm beginning to understand you. And now, yes, now I see that you're closer to victory than me. Really? Then I could present the commander with arguments in favor of a proposal that will preserve the town at the cost of destroying the tower. This is a wise arrangement, and, as my heart tells me, a lasting one. I'm thinking about the future of my community. What will you need for it? If my confidants are alive, I'll come. I don't see any obstacles to it. But are you sure they're really alive? Yes, your confidants are alive and well. I'll see you at the council, Barak. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Theater. Yeah, I agree. Artemy handles all of this, I think, shockingly well. He's a little bullheaded. I think is worth pointing out and admitting. He's stubborn. If he weren't a righteous man, that would be a problem. He does, like, fall in love with a Glea, and I don't understand that. He should really interrogate that about himself. You know, Narasti, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, one last mime. Thanks for visiting us. Go in. You're being awaited. Not at all. The real game is what's happening between you and us. That was an official warning I had to make. I warned the previous characters too, but they went straight for questions. Such boring people. Why did you put me in a position like this? What was that split personality gimmick all about? In fact, it was much gimmickier than a mere split personality. It was the gimmick of choosing one's own fate. A logical and temporal conundrum, a Mobius strip of events, a backup plan. Seems to have worked. Clara is the game's main protagonist, and so is the sand dirt. So is the utopia. What was the point of this whole affair? What was the pestilence for? See, we're conducting an experiment of sorts. We find the inevitability worrying and oppressive. We wanted to see for ourselves just how flawed the idea is of constructing a sarcophagus for a miracle. Or perhaps not a sarcophagus, but a space in which a miracle would always be possible. Why changeling? Because that is what she is. It's her nature. She'll stay true to it until the end. Well, almost until the end, seeing as she's the only one with the miracle option. Don't miss it. What about the Haruspex and the Bachelor? What are they for, then? They haven't performed any miracles, but both had a chance to accomplish a heroic feat of a different sort, and prove or disprove a number of slippery points in the process. The Bachelor? A tempted destroyer. He could have accomplished a feat of moral heroism, the strongest, the most straightforward. He was too strongly tempted by vengeance and destruction for his not going through with it to be anything less than miracle, or something close to one. What, even here you're not letting me go back to the previous selection? I'd be interested to hear about the other hero, too. Well, sorry. You haven't made your choice yet, have you? The miracle is yet to happen. This is just a reminder. I'm leaving. And we reload to ask about the Haruspex. The Haruspex? Diverging branches. He was the only one who could attain true freedom. He wasn't facing the kind of dilemma that the ever-deceived Bachelor found so dismal. So it was a kind of loop. Yes, purest vision of one, it seems. Two diverging pairs of decisions, both predetermined, but the dilemma is a harsh one indeed. That made the freedom all the more salient. And then, you see, there were also feelings involved. Love. Of a surrogate kind, right? Love can't be surrogate. It's either there or it isn't. Don't try to be smart here. I'm the expert in love, not you. Well, no one's taking that gift away from our dearest Clara. Does he at least have a chance to defeat you? Depend on what he's understood, doesn't it? Surely you two have had a conversation already. How profoundly has he been enlightened? This great intuitor of things. He doesn't seem to have understood anything at all. Perhaps he doesn't even care. He thinks himself a hero. I see. Then it would be better if he waived the choice altogether. That would at least be unexpected. Seems daft, doesn't it? But it's not that simple. The Haruspex is a man of action, and... Indeed? And why the hell are you planning beforehand which decision will be free and which won't be? There's no escaping from this loop. So long as you're here, this will last forever. That's why we initially planned pure destruction for our dearest changeling, which would obviously include our own destruction. You know all this philosophical stuff, don't you? The truth as liberation, ephemeral things, the wheel of rebirth. Nonsense, I don't believe in that. It's nice to hear. So what am I supposed to do? We surmise that this paradox can be resolved, but that's just a hypothesis. Hint, in your case only, out of the three. Why? I'll find the answer to this question. That would be the outcome we hoped for the most. You still don't understand what I'm thinking of now. I'm curious if I can have a deeper conversation about the Bachelor's Run if I don't call them out on the chat box thing. I'm glad these will be recorded. I'm going to go back through these for more thoughts. Bachelor is a tempted destroyer. He could have accomplished a feat of moral heroism. The strongest, the most straightforward. He was too strongly tempted by vengeance and destruction for his not going through with it to be anything less than miracle, or something close to one. So that was the easiest option? Yes, it was perhaps the simplest solution, and the most emotional one behind its veneer of calculation. 3 deceptions, one after another, gradual disillusionment, bitterness, a desire to retaliate against the oppressors, predictable obstinacy, and a contrarian decision. Does he at least have a chance to defeat you? Depends on what he's understood, doesn't it? Surely you two have had a conversation already. How profoundly has he been enlightened, this sophisticated gentleman? He seems to have found a way into the focus and realized he was a toy. I see. He should better bring somebody else to the cathedral then. As I've already said, his trajectory is so designed as to make it difficult for him to abandon his arrangement, except by a lapse of judgment. But we're not concerned with that. So this conversation really makes it clear that they think the Bachelor's ending is the bad one, and that if he comes to understand more about the world, he should choose some other way out. They had initially planned pure destruction for the Changeling. Well, you know everything about us already. Now that you got this far, you're much more powerful than us. And yet I still have to choose to reply from the options I'm offered. Who was Clara, the Graveborn, the one who raised her hands first? She was indeed conceived as the disease, an instrument of the law. She was born a thief. At the very moment of her birth, she got a chance to become someone completely different. The girl came into this world having stolen for herself the fate of a miracle worker. Yes, the game has let us call the developers wrong, yes. The sister, did she really exist? Of course not. The same being sang in 2 different voices. You had made her up yourself. Don't you remember when? It was a falsehood. I've seen her. I've talked to her. Is this you talking to us now or not? Who's speaking? Me, the player. Then it shouldn't surprise you that at certain moments you were seeing Clara in front of you, right? Hang on, here's the important part. Who's she? The twin? The one that doesn't exist? Seeing as the Plague Girl invented her in order to save her life and dodge an accusation, she is in fact the saint and miracle worker. And how can we be talking about anything resembling a choice? Why not? The Changeling, not knowing who she was herself, had fallen into our mirror trap. It was a surprise even to the children who were playing with her. So it was a conundrum. Why, there's no point in hiding that we hadn't expected it either. So maybe, just maybe... Hadn't you made provisions for every circumstance beforehand? When she first performed a lesser miracle, we were ourselves astounded. We had never thought it could work. It shouldn't have. Unbelievable. Okay. We go sleep till 7, and we make our final decision. I find it interesting through that conversation. They feel that the Bachelor should choose another ending if he meets the powers that be. If he discovers that he is a toy, then he should come to realize that his ending is wrong somehow. And I feel like that is a part of the discussion that doesn't make sense to me, because if he is a toy and none of this matters, why not blow it all up? Like, if it's all meaningless, then that's a fair answer. Let's make sure we don't starve in our sleep. Alright. Gotta wait till 7. One more hour. Alright, let's go. I mean, in the Bachelor's run, it's not even clear if Clara is miraculous. The only thing that is the polyhedron. In a way, he's doing the same thing Clara does. Come, changeling. The Assembly is awaiting your decision. The queens of this chessboard are in a deadlock. They have each other pinned down. The game may very well end in a tragic stalemate. You're the promoted pawn. It's the end game. Go and finish it. I know. You don't have to bother explaining. Clara is also here. Fun.
This headache is splitting. I need some rest.
Stop. Hear me out before you approach Block. Speak. You're going to talk about your plan, aren't you? Yes, I admit I have an ulterior motive here. I'd be glad if I didn't have to wreck the town. Might even believe the Ripper, wild though the idea may be. But the only thing he wants to is to remove Aglaia from his prophecy. What are you talking about? What prophecy? The kin demands that he kills her. She is his sacrifice. Without it, they won't acknowledge him as a foreman and warden. He wants to deceive both them and fate, and to frame the matter differently. He wants to kill the polyhedron. What? Is it alive? Why do you put it like that? Yes, I love the polyhedron. It is alive, no less alive than the Earth, and it is worthy of love. It, too, is inhabited by a collective body. It, too, is infused with a divine essence. It, too, is the dwelling place of a soul, if you like. The whole town is like a pair of conjoined twins. Everything is alive here. I understand this very well. You can't even imagine how well. So you're leaving the decision to me. What's the point? Do tell me, and be careful. A lot will depend on your answer. The point is that in this case, the winner will be love, right? No. Mere humanity. Any kind of it, even malicious, and yet still a living one. We win and you lose here, you see. You're wrong. Go. There's your Ava, crying by the railing. You'll be the only one who sees her.
That tower will have to be destroyed. That's how we procure Ichor.
There's one last thing I want to tell you. Yes? I haven't settled on my sacrificial victim yet. Keep that in mind, all right? What are you talking about? My principal goal is not to destroy the polyhedron. but to heal the town. What are you getting at? Hence, I would recommend you to turn your attention to Dankovsky, who intends to destroy the town. Touch him. But I'm not the plague and not a murderer. What's a touch from me going to do to him? All right, let's not argue in here. Will you let me decide? You know, I've seen all of this already, so what's the difference? Nothing's changed. If you really think so, step aside. Let me make the decision. If you don't understand anything, then mine and the Bachelor's decisions are inherently better than yours. And mine is, of course, better than the Bachelor's. Why so? There's more feeling in it. No, not more. Just as much. Or as little.
Yes.
You have no business being here, Changeling. You shouldn't have come here. We've been doing just fine without you. I'm sure you have. I feel sorry for you, Aglaya Lilac. You are an instrument of the law. At least keep that in mind now that you've chanced to be able to make the choice here. Don't try to be something greater than you are. That's the best you could do in your position. You're wrong, Aglaya Lilac. I could do a lot in my position. You want to settle scores with me? Is that it? I haven't observed any logic in your words and actions, Aglaya Lilac. If I was an instrument of the law, why did you banish me? Because you had yielded to a temptation. You had embarked on a perverse course of action to preserve this outrageous synthesis, which is nothing but a death machine, and to add more deaths to the tally for the sake of its preservation. Your words had also led astray the Bachelor and the Haruspecs, to whom I had taken such pains to explain the real state of affairs. Really? I didn't know that. Well, enough idle banter. Since you've already turned up and made a farce out of this council, decide quickly and let's be done with it. We're not going to hear anything worthwhile here. What, are you jealous? You do realize you're not the center of the universe, I hope.
People are willing to sacrifice themselves so that the town survives. Help me get to the cathedral. I'll show you.
It's good that you found me here and approached me. Now you will have to perform the sacrament for which for which you, Changeling, Thief, Saint, Sandpest, Envoy of the Law and Harbinger, came into this world. Are you ready? Who am I, sister? That is exactly what is about to be ascertained, and you're the only one who can ascertain it. That's the essence of the sacrament. By establishing the present, you will establish the past. With that which is yet to be done, you will establish that which has seemed to have been done beforehand. It has only worked the opposite way before. Who are you? I do exist, sister, but in a transient way. For now, you are still the disease, and I'm the persecuted saint. The problem is there is no me yet. I'm a figment of your imagination, a consequence of a lie you told. And yet how wonderful that lie itself turned out to be. Theft had made a miracle possible. The Inquisitor insists that miracles and me are mutually exclusive. I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. Aglaya doesn't tell me the whole truth. From her point of view, there are no such things as miracles. That's just the way she was made. But we, not Simon, are living proof of the contrary. You have a chance to preserve things as they are. You can do what others can't. They're impeded by enmities and hatred. But to preserve things as they are is the capricious wish of the criminal powers that be. You are free to choose your own fate. Now is your time to decide who you've been all along. It's only from the law's perspective that you're the disease, but you don't recognize the law. You're a thief. You'll escape the law by stealing for yourself the path of a miracle worker. You'll defeat it by performing a genuine miracle. And you? What's going to happen to you? I'll accept the destiny you'll have rejected, and then I'll vanish at once, because I don't belong on this earth. Go, sister, make your choice. Do not tarry. I'll come back to you yet.
I'm feverish.
Well then, let us commence. I'm going to ask you formally, in order to get this over with quicker. One word from you and it happens. So you are positive that it was neither greed, nor plotting, nor circumstance that has informed your choice, but your conscience alone. I've been given orders to level everything here, but if this isn't necessary, I'll trust you on it. My trust for you is infinite. I've decided not to decide. Oof. That's tempting, but I don't think that's this playthrough. There's no need to destroy anything. We can do all together without gunfire and preserve this world as it is, even though many think it impossible. Good. Do you really know a way to preserve this town? Yes, I'm restoring the chain of creation. I'm giving Simon back to this town. I'm closing the chain. I hereby declare that from now on, only goodwill, love, and dedication shall, time and time again, be the safeguards of this tiny world's existence. Would you like to know how I'm going to do it? I hereby announce that the choice has been made. The council is dismissed. The choice has been made. Now everything's been resolved. Didn't I explain everything to you? The strings were given to you. You only needed to pull. Did you act on a whim, or was it your decision, a well-calculated conclusion? I find it hard to believe you were driven by vengeance alone. No, this is not how it was. I think I understand now. You know you are going to leave us before long, so you renounce your chance to perform a miracle and estimate the mantle of the law. You hold our mutual enemy to your breast and dive headfirst into the chasm. Is this your attempt to dismiss the inevitable? There is still hope, however, for even though you will leave, I will stay. I will remain here to keep the fate that you have rejected. Isn't that so? No, don't answer me. Just remember I will always remain by your side, and I will be waiting. And one last sleep. Okay, which of Clara's bound are the lemons and which is the peanut?
did it, it was a free choice. We acknowledge the victory of the player.
It is indeed miraculous. The exit is clear. It shouldn't have happened. The miracle must be real.
That's pathologic. Thank you, an RST. That's it. Oh, thank you for those 10 bits, Beanie Baby. I appreciate it. That's all 3 runs done. Thank you, everyone, for joining me through the journey. I really appreciate it. Hey, you're my #1 bit giver this week. This was good. I'm glad I did it. It's given me so much to think about. It has spawned so many conversations. I appreciate the developers admitting where they tried and failed, what their goals were, and what they have accomplished is amazing. So this was extremely worthwhile. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate how the gameplay mattered. This doesn't work as a movie or a book. They told it through gameplay. And that's really important. Making a video game is impossible. They performed a miracle. Okay. With that, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you all for joining. You all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Good night.